Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called River Scene. It's a 4x6, and I painted this last week. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what day, but it's a little one, little 4x6, and it's painted from a bit of reference that I've had composited for quite a while. I actually did want to paint it a bit larger than this, but last week, you'll have this too, man. It's just one of those weeks. It was kind of hard to get it together. But when I cannot get it together, take some advice from me, from Uncle Mike here. Don't just say, "Oh, I can't paint." I had this painting in mind for like, I don't know. I haven't done any 12 by 18s for a while, but something like that, 12 by 18 or 8 by 12. But I thought, well, it's just been sitting there so long. Let's just do something. Let's just see if we can make a painting from it. And a lot of times, I don't know what your case is. Maybe you've got some reference and you think, oh, I can make a painting from that, and then it doesn't work at all. You know, you will get better over time though at knowing kind of. There'll still be times when you'll give it a go and it doesn't work out, and you go, well, that didn't work out. I've done scenes like this before. It's based on in a river scene from one of my travels, and I think it came out really nice. So right now I'm just painting on my usual bit of hardboard, also known in the States as masonite. You don't want to go with you want to go with the untempered, not the tempered masonite. The tempered masonite, they impregnate it with a ton of oil, and some people say it's okay. I think it's probably better just to work with the basic board. I prep mine with 2 coats of transparent gesso. Not super thin coats, not super thick. I sand in between coats and afterwards, and then usually we'll hit that with a little bit of linseed oil so we can see the true color of the board. And this reddish, dark reddish color you see me doing the drawing slash underpainting with, that's a good old burnt umber, which is a great color for doing underpaintings, for landscapes especially, I'd say. Um, it's reddish. It doesn't always come off as red. A lot of times in certain situations, it's always somewhat red, but here it looks super red, you know. Prior to the burnt umber, I was using a lot of burnt sienna. I still have burnt sienna on my palette, but I would be burnt sienna, maybe add a little blue to get it darker, that kind of thing. Anyway, I had a couple things I wanted to talk to you about today, maybe to kind of help you. I've been working, by the way, I think I'm going to do a whole video on just supporting yourself as an artist, and I don't mean financially, because well, I don't know. That's a topic for someone who's more of a marketer, I guess. But that's coming up. Anyway, today I thought I'd talk a little bit about materials, which a lot of people starting out with the painting, they want advice there. They don't know. Paints. Let's talk about paints. Um, you don't want to use very, very cheap paints. Most student grade paints are a waste of money. It's a false economy. Yes, you're picking up a tube of paint for, $10 or less. Um, but usually the reason it's cheap is because there's just less pigment in it. Now that doesn't mean I'm 100% saying you should go with the pro grade either, or brands that are premium only, like Old Holland or Michael Harding, that sort of thing. Um, my approach is for certain types of pigments. I like gambling because when you're talking about price for quality and quantity, they're hard to beat, and their paint is always really good quality. I use a lot of their pigments. Like I like them for all the cadmiums. Um, I like them for trying to remember. Well, I like that Hansa yellow of theirs. Um, and I like their titanium white very much because it's just pure titanium white with no zinc added. When I'm going to use titanium white, I want it to be straight up titanium white. It's a good value, better value, and better quality. Um, long term, like zinc, especially when we're talking about canvases versus boards a little later on in the video. But if you're working on canvas, you want to avoid zinc in your any of your mixtures at all costs. And I think that's PW6. Don't quote me though. It's either I should know. I don't have it. I'm at the home office right now, so I don't have a tube of paint in front of me. But there, that's like for those sorts of pigments. But there's a lot of pigments where the brand that I very much favor is Daler Rowney, and it's called Georgian. And I buy the big fat tubes. They're 255 mils, and um, great value. That would be your lamp black or your ivory black. I really like their titanium buff, and there is no zinc in that. It's kind of a more of a yellowish sort of. Oh, by the way, I want to point out Masters area has the whole breakdown of the colors I pre-mixed for this painting, and the reference image is shown at the beginning of that video, and a bit of a talk about what I'm going to keep, what I'm going to try and avoid, things like that. So it's a little more in depth. This would be a good one in the Masters area too. I think it's an hour and a half or so. That's a great thing about these little paintings. And yeah, so we're on the other side of we're going to have an ad for the book coming up. So please, stay with me. And thanks for your support. A lot of you have been buying the book, and it's very encouraging, and certainly helped justify the immense amount of effort that went into it. I don't make a ton on the book, but I'm happy for it to be getting out in the world. Most of the cost of the $60 book is going for shipping. So thanks for your support. Yeah, here it is, Labor of Love. And actually written, designed, and produced by yours truly. And encapsulates, 10 years or more of my journey as a tonalist painter. Thank God that my friend Ash came in and helped me edit it, as she has a very good command of the English language, and without her the book would not have come to pass. So check it out. There's a link below the video. Lots of links all over my site. You order it, I'll ship it, you'll get it with a little bonus. Nothing fancy, nothing special. Well, it is special, I think, but not expensive. A little extra gift in there too. Yeah, so I won't belabor that because a lot of you guys have seen the book ad. And man, I appreciate you coming around here. I know there's a lot of stuff on YouTube, but in fact, I was just watching a video the other day on don't start a YouTube channel, and I didn't even know there's 37 million YouTube channels. All right, but the best advice that guy gave is don't even bother unless you're absolutely passionate about what you're doing, and obviously I am about my landscape painting and especially tonalism in general, but mostly just painting. Yeah. So let's get into so that's paint. So Daler Rowney, what do I pick up? I like all the earth pigments from them: raw umber, burnt umber, yellow ochre. Those are great. Now the other ones that are great: phthalo blue, phthalo green. You don't need to go with the premium brand on those because those are not expensive pigments to produce. Okay. So almost any brand with those would be fine, since it's basically a dye, suspended in linseed or walnut oil or whatever you call it. Um, let's talk a little about what other. I'm just thinking. So the whites, I will probably go with the whites from Daler Rowney Georgian. Winton is sort of close to it, but I don't really like their paints. I don't like the way they put things together. I don't like how they're always swapping out earth pigments with actually, modern transparent equivalents, and giving it the same name. So whatever. And they do that in their premium line too. That's not a good call. Anyway, let's talk about brushes. I'm using a brush. It's called Princeton Refine, and it's a number 2, and I believe it's a Filbert. I like it because it's long and brushy. My usual go-to brushes is the Robert Simmons series, Signet series. I really like their 4s and their 2s and their 6s. But lately I moved into some really cheaper brushes, which is the DAS brand. I don't have those in front of me, but those blue ones are super cheap, but they work very good for certain applications. And a friend of the channel is going to be sending me some. I started out with the Silver Grand Prix, Those are nice brushes. A little more expensive than the Robert Simmons Signet series, and definitely the Robert Simmons is an equivalent in quality. What is the difference, you're wondering? Well, the cheaper brushes, usually I think they have less hairs in them, you know. And for some applications like skies, real brushy areas where you want real brushy effects, um, they work great. Maybe sometimes the Signet can be a little dense. In fact, I pretty much avoid the Signet series for skies 100%. I know that little red brush I'm using is it's Art Spectrum, and it's just come about because it was the right size. That's a one, and it's very hard to find ones, but I like it because it's a little bit long, and I believe that's a filbert. You have to be careful when you order some brushes too, like that Princeton Refine. I love it for skies, and um, so I just ordered some off of eBay, not realizing that I was using a filbert, and I ordered flats. And normally I prefer flats, but what I don't like is a real stubby brush. The longer that bristle is, for me, the better, within reason. I like so much longer bristle. I like flats generally, but most of my flats turn into filberts. And if you don't know what the difference is, a flat will be kind of almost a chisel cut off, where the filberts are slightly rounded and on each side. And like I said, most of my flats turn into that because a lot of my technique is very much based on using the corner of the brush as opposed to grabbing a smaller brush. And that's a big tip. It's in my book. It's in my book, yo. It's on a lot of videos too, but I realize that a lot of you don't watch every video, and I think I really would love to get a count at some point. 800, something like that videos in this channel. I've been doing this every week since 2000. I want to say 2014, but I think really it's 2015. 2014, I started off doing 100 days of tonalism, which is 5x7s. That's a size just slightly bigger than this 4x6. And I videotaped the whole thing. I just got it in my head to do that, and was gonna just was a big blogger at the time, so I was just gonna unveil the paintings on my blog, and then I thought, oh, maybe I'll put out a DVD with the videos. Anyway, I ended up doing a YouTube channel where I put out one video a day for 100 days, and that was the start of the channel, the real birth of the channel. Yeah. Anyway, we've got a bit of time here. Let's talk about canvas versus boards. If you're going to go with canvas, the problem with canvas is there's the cotton or the linen. Okay, the cotton duck or the linen, and a lot of cotton duck to me, it just looks cheap, and especially at these really tiny sizes, like 4x6. That big weave of the canvas is just going to take over. The linen has a much finer weave and more interesting weave. Is much more expensive than the cotton duck, and you'll know it. You'll know it. And the thing is, like compared to just prepping a bit of hardboard, um, it's astronomically expensive. I mean, my cost on a hardboard like this is not great at all. And even on the larger sizes, it's way less than canvas, and it's very stable support. Now, when I feel is a lot of people like that canvas texture, my solution to that was to do a textured, and I believe the last video on this channel, we're riffing on Corot painting is working on a textured board, and just put the word texture into my channel. There's a search. If you click on my channel, you'll look over on the right, just underneath the banner around there. You'll see a little magnifying glass. Click in there and type the word texture, and you'll get the texturing video. It's a bit labor intensive, but it gives you a great result, and obviously I don't even think your texture would turn out the same as mine, to be honest. But some people like canvas. They're very into it. If you are going to paint with canvas, spend the money to get the good stuff. Some people like to mount their canvas to boards, which ain't a bad plan, because all that stretching and stuff is really what can cause so much of the issues with cracking, crazing, etc., as that the paint on the stretched canvas, expands and contracts with changes in temperature and humidity. Ugh, I don't even deal with it. I just paint on hardboard. That's what I like, and that is one of the reasons why. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate you coming around. You can support me, hey, financially if you got some money. Go buy a painting or send me a donation. Go buy my book. Also, just leave me a comment if you like. That'd be great. Anyway, until I come back with another video for your edification, enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones, and stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family.